We have been looking at some of the issues concerning heat treatment of steels. We looked at spark tests to see if that would give you an idea of what kind of steel you had. We looked at doing some test hardenings to see if material was hardenable and whether it was hardenable in air, oil, or water. And we've talked a little bit about critical temperature. Now, critical temperature is that temperature at which you should harden a particular steel. And not all steels have the same critical temperature. Oftentimes, we refer to critical temperature as being the point at which steel loses its magnetism, or usually a little hotter than that. But we don't really know exactly how hot, although you might be able to look that up in some tables. There's probably a textbook out there that will tell you. But I have often wondered, is that true? I think it's probably true for simple steels like the 1085s, the 1095s, and probably even W1, which is what I happen to have in my hand here. But I'm not sure that it still holds true when you get up to the higher tech steels that need higher and higher critical temperatures. I suspect that most of those steels lose their magnetism and the magnet will no longer stick at about the same temperature, even though they need a critical temperature that might be 300 degrees hotter. And 300 degrees in hardening and tempering is a big temperature difference. This W1 I think is 1475, and I have all this written down, so we'll take a look at it. And something like H13 is something like 1825. So that's 350 degrees difference in the range of what that critical temperature is for hardening. So if you just brought H13 up till it loses magnetism, is it at 1800 degrees or is it at the 1475 degrees that just like the W1 is? One way to find that out is let's do a test. I've got that brand new heat treat oven with a very precise temperature control on it, and this is a good way to do this test. So I'm going to put all this stuff in the heat treat oven. I'm going to bring it up short of critical temperature to start with. I think I'll bring it up to maybe 1200 or 1400 to start with, and then we'll see if it's still magnetic, and then we'll bring it up a little bit more and see where it loses, and then compare some of the other steels and see how they did. Well, we have reached our target temperature on the oven at 1400 degrees. It goes up and down a little bit to try and maintain that temperature, but it's been here now for about a minute, and this is 75 degrees cooler than what W1 typically uses as a critical temperature. 1475 is correct. So let's see if it's still magnetic at 1400 degrees. Now, while this was heating up, I took the time to write down the critical temperatures of all the steels based on my reference information, and these are all books and sources we have talked about before. So I know W1 is 1475, and we're at 1400 right now. So we're way too cold, 75 degrees too cold for W1 to harden. But is it still magnetic? And it has already lost magnetism. I don't know where it lost magnetism, but the W1 is no longer magnetic at 1400 degrees. So that means it's at least 75 degrees more to get to critical temperature. So the question is, can you tell that by eye? And the other question is, what about the other steels that have higher critical temperatures? Have they lost magnetism already? The next one in the line that would also be at 1475 would be O1 tool steel. Let's test the O1. It is not magnetic. 5160, which has a critical temperature of 1525, is not magnetic. So the 5160 is 125 degrees too cold to harden, but it has lost its magnetism. So that's starting to get a little bit more difficult to judge by eye if you're doing this in the forge. How about 4140 at 1570? Has it lost magnetism? That one's still magnetic, surprisingly. although it's a bigger block of steel, so it may not be fully up to heat yet. How about S7? S7 is 1725 for critical temperature, and it has lost magnetism. H13, that's an alarm telling me I got the door open too long. It is still magnetic at this temperature. It has a high, or a critical temperature of 1875 degrees, so it needs to be way hotter. So let's turn this up just a little bit and see what happens. Well, we brought the oven up to 1475, which is the critical temperature for both W1 and O1, according to the charts that I have on hand. And we know that at 1400, the W1, the O1, the 5160, and the S7 had all already lost magnetism, even though it's lower than their critical temperatures. The S7's critical temperature is 1725, so it had lost magnetism 325 degrees before it hit critical temperature. So let's see if the O1 is still magnetic. Try to keep some heat in there. And the O1 is not magnetic. There's no magnetic draw. So it's still 400 degrees below its critical temperature, and it has already lost all magnetism. That's a pretty significant temperature difference. So the other one in question was 4140. Now this is a much bigger piece and probably requires a little bit more soak time. So I'm going to let it soak at this temperature for a few more minutes before I test it, just to give it a more equal test. Okay, I've let this piece soak for about 20 minutes at 1475, which again is the critical temperature for W1, not for 4140. But we're doing that just to see when it loses its magnetism. And also because this is a much heavier piece of steel. I haven't made a piece of 4140 that matches my other samples. So we're just giving it a fair trial here. It depends on where you test it. The part that's sitting up on this brick must still be a little bit cooler because it's magnetic. The part hanging over the back end is not magnetic. That's a very interesting finding right there. But I think that means that our part that's fully exposed to the atmosphere inside the heat treat furnace is at the correct temperature, and the part over the brick perhaps is not. So 4140 should have a critical temperature of 1570, and at 1475 we're clearly losing the magnetism, so that's 100 degrees below critical temperature. Well, what have we learned from doing all this? Well, what we learned was that for the simpler steels, particularly the W1, the loss of magnetism occurs about 75 degrees before it reaches critical temperature. And that's in keeping with the common philosophy or the common doctrine or whatever you want to call it. What most people tend to believe is that critical temperature is just a little over where you lose magnetism. You lose magnetism, you go a little hotter. So 75 to 100 degrees is a little hotter. I think that's a reasonable thing. And the 4140 falls into that. It lost magnetism at 1475, but that's just about 100 degrees from its critical temperature. So those steels, that theory works out quite nicely. But for the 5160, the S7, and the H13, and who knows how many other steels, it doesn't work. Those steels were 300 or 400 degrees below their critical temperature when they lost magnetism. So bringing them up another 100 degrees still did not reach critical temperature. And we will try to define critical temperature and what really is happening at critical temperature in a future video, and we start getting more technical and much more boring. But for now, it's just that's the temperature that you should be quenching the material in the proper quench medium. And for every steel, Critical temperature is something a little bit different. It depends on what else it's alloyed with. That's why it is so important to have those charts and tables either in the books that I've mentioned in the past or found online. When we looked at online sources for tool steel, almost every one of those places will have a chart or a guide somewhere that will tell you what the critical temperature is and whether it's air, oil, or water hardening, and what the tempering guidelines are and the chemistry and all that stuff on it. So you can find all that stuff online. You don't have to buy the books. The books are convenient. And so is the Heat Treater's Guide, or the Heat Treater's Guide Companion, I think is what it might be called, as an app for your phone or your tablet. So those things all have valuable resources and will tell you these critical temperatures. The only trouble is trying to judge those with a magnet clearly is not perfectly accurate. The other way we judge them is simply by eye and judging color. And there are a lot of sources out there. I think The Modern Blacksmith by Weegers and New Edge the Anvil by Andrews both have color charts that show temperatures, so you can see what 1500 degrees should look like or what 1600 degrees should look like. And so does this little book, and you can see the chart. 1500 is down here. It doesn't look that much different to me from the 1400 or the 1600, so I would have some trouble telling that. And I have also found, since I've got the higher tech oven and started using electronic ovens for heat treating, that the color temperatures that I used to think were appropriate for heat treating were way too hot. I was quenching W1 at probably 1600 degrees instead of at 1475. And while that works and you get something hard, it is got a much different grain structure than if you quench it at the proper temperature. It is going to be more brittle and it's more likely to warp and have other problems. So quenching at critical temperature is really kind of important. So I don't know that I've actually solved any problems or just identified that there is a problem. I'm not suggesting you go out and buy a high-tech heat treat oven, just that you keep an eye on your material and don't overheat it. It would probably be better to quench it at too low a temperature and find out it wasn't quite hard enough, renormalize, re-anneal, whatever you want to do, and then do it all over again at slightly higher temperature, and try to learn what those color changes look like. After years of experience, you will get pretty good at telling what the right color is, as long as the lighting in your shop remains constant. So there's another dilemma. Anyways, I've talked long enough about this. My hypothesis proved correct that magnetism is more about just the temperature of the material than it is about the structural change within the material that causes it to harden properly. So we need to look at that just a little bit different and not just assume it's not magnetic, therefore I can quench it. So if that was useful to you, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, yeah, you can give it a thumbs down. Really, YouTube sees them the same. They don't care. Love it if you hit the subscribe button. But do get out to your shop. Work with hardening and tempering some metals, even if you didn't make anything out of it. Just experiment with scrap hardenable steels and learn what the properties of the steels you have are. And that'll be the best way to gain experience and be able to judge these things. Make something out of it after that. Be safe, wear your safety glasses, and we will see you for the next one.